Guys, one of the most bullish things in the world when it comes to XRP and the future of XRP happened yesterday, and nobody talked about it, right? Because people didn't even notice, or maybe people didn't see the link and why this is incredibly bullish for XRP. So one of Ripple's partners, Ondo Finance, right, who is their partner with tokenization of real world assets, met with the SEC to discuss a legal and regulatory framework, right, around tokenizing real world assets and publicly traded United States securities. So that means bonds, stocks, ETFs, what have you, treasuries, whatever. So they want to tokenize all of that stuff. And in able to do that, they don't want any legal issues. They don't want any regulatory issues. And the SEC sat down with them yesterday with legal counsel, and they had a meeting on formulating a framework around this. Now, that is probably one of the most bullish things that I've ever heard when it comes to XRP. And absolutely nobody mentioned it. Nobody that I saw anyway. Maybe people didn't make the link. But the minute I saw that, I was like, whoa, this is huge. This is huge. Now, that will not affect the price immediately, or maybe even in the short term, because, well, first of all, people don't see the link. Second of all, again, they're just in the planning stages where they're sitting down to formulate a legal framework. But you know that technologically, Ondo is already ready to do this stuff. In fact, they've tokenized a few funds already. We know that the XRP Ledger is ready to do this stuff. What they're doing is clearing the path for something that they already have on the table, right? Something they have in the works, in the labs, whatever. They're just creating the legal framework, clearing the path, avoiding issues in the future. And of course, now we have an SEC that is more sort of geared towards cooperating with companies, actually providing the legal framework, the regulatory framework, actually doing their job, rather than how Gary Gensler used to just say, oh, you know, go do it, and then sue them after the fact. I mean, these companies went to Gary Gensler, Coinbase went to Gary Gensler, Ripple went to Gary Gensler. A lot of these crypto startups and crypto companies went to Gary Gensler and the SEC back in the day, asking for regulations, basically asking for what Ondo Finance is doing right now with the SEC. And what did Gary Gensler do? He was ambiguous. He didn't provide anything. He just sort of sat on his hands. And when these companies then went ahead and released these products, he then went and sued them. Yeah, this is what happened with Library, with Coinbase, with Uniswap, all sorts of companies. But now we have Ondo Finance doing this and seeking clarity before the fact. However, this is another thing that this points out. It signals the intention of Ondo Finance in what they're trying to do and what they're on the way to doing, and that is tokenizing absolutely everything. They're going to tokenize all of the bonds available, pretty much everything that is publicly traded right now, all the securities that are traded in the United States at the moment, tokenized with their partner. And when this time comes, the XRP Ledger is going to facilitate all of this stuff, which means a lot of liquidity, a lot of functionality, and a lot of utility for the XRP token. I know it's not popular to talk about the XRP token in terms of global use at the moment because of RLUSD. When it comes to DeFi, RLUSD is the one that is facilitating that, even though it's happening in connection with the XRP Ledger. But a lot of people are sort of just kind of losing faith a little bit in Ripple when it comes to how much commitment that they have with the XRP Ledger and XRP itself, you know, with more attention going towards RLUSD and its function as a, you know, the new dollar or whatever, you know, the business of, you know, cross-border payments being focused more on RLUSD in competition now with USDC, right? But, you know, things like tokenization, you can't tokenize with RLUSD. You have to tokenize on the XRP Ledger. Okay, so this bit of news, absolutely bullish, all right? Absolutely insanely bullish. Sooner rather than later, we're going to see the fruit of our labor, so to say, or our patience. In a way, I'm kind of happy that the SEC hasn't officially come out and said that the case was over. Maybe it happened and I didn't see it, or maybe I wasn't paying attention because I have been away, as you guys probably know. But it's actually a good thing. So even though the case is over with Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse has come out and said it officially, but with the SEC not having said it officially now is actually kind of a good thing in a way, because we have this down market right now, you know, because of the macro situation with China and all the other trade tariff wars that are going on at the moment. Any bit of good news just gets swallowed up in the FUD, right? Perhaps when the smoke kind of clears off a little bit and the momentum is building, and then the SEC then comes out officially and says, you know what? Yes, the Ripple case is over. That is going to actually do better for us than them saying it now. Like I said this in a video that I made like a month ago, that in a way that this kind of news would be wasted in the climate that we're in now. And it kind of was, because when Garlinghouse came out and said, oh, the case is over, we saw a little bit of a bleep in XRP, but it just cooled off again because of the downward spiral of the general market, the stock market, the US economy, the failed recession, the Trump tariffs, the FUD, the ETF sell-offs, etc. Right? So that bit of news was wasted, but I think that once the momentum returns, which I think is already returning, a bit of SEC news would help to boost that immensely. I'm talking about the SEC, obviously Paul Atkinson is there now, officially appointed. And now we're going to see a lot more momentum. Even before he was appointed, we already seen things that happen. A whole bunch of cases were dropped. Now we're going to see, I think, in my opinion anyway, an acceleration in things like ETFs getting approved. We're going to see more ETFs be approved. We're going to see more meetings with these companies when they're going to talk about, regulations. We're going to see more robust regulations. Funny thing is, some of the purists in this ecosystem actually don't like regulations. They just want crypto to be left alone to its own devices. But hard to break it to them, crypto has changed. Crypto is not the same as it was 5, 10, 15 years ago. Okay, things have completely changed. The institutions are in. I'm preparing a video actually because I believe that this bull run that we're in right now is, if not the very last chance, it's the second to the last chance for any significant financial gain, in a way that it creates this generational wealth, right? This is probably the last time we're going to see, the average Joe come from zero to hero, overnight or within a week or whatever. Maybe we have one more cycle to go, but it's not going to be like the good old days when, you could accidentally buy a meme and then 2 weeks later you're a millionaire. I think that era, that window is closing very, very quickly. And I think that XRP can offer some of the last chances that people have, okay? I think that, in bull markets past, it was kind of almost a no-brainer. You could just pick something, do a little bit of research, and make quite a fair bit of money. I think that going forward, it'll probably still be possible. And again, other things always happen. When windows close, doors open, right? New doors open. So something else might happen, AI or whatever, new technology that might then, again, create millionaires, whatever. We said this during the dot-com era when people were becoming millionaires all over the place. And then that window shut, and now we have crypto that kind of did the same thing, even to a larger extent. Who knows, maybe AI or something that we don't already know yet might also happen and create these same kind of millionaires. So nothing new under the sun, but yeah, not financial advice, your own research. Exciting times ahead.